I actually get to interact with you guys this time.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Oh.
So we're also fictional podcasts. So like, kind of like audio drama. Like if you ever listened like or heard of like back in the day when they would do like radio shows like the Lone Ranger and stuff like that, where it's not necessarily like the Joe Rogan type podcast. It's more like a entertainment, and
Is it
we're
with an H or an A?
With an A.
With an A?
Yeah.
Okay.
and we're working on that, and so we recorded I think the first episode a couple of weeks ago, and we're gonna record like all 10 episodes and then like release it as like kind of like something that people can binge listen to. So I'm excited for it. There's gonna be a lot of like editing and stuff that goes into it, but it's gonna be fun. It's cool. It's cool. What? What are you talking?
You're like, hey, it's cool.
It's cool. It's cool.
Hey.
I feel like I was supposed to have like some
Alright.
commentary on it. I was just like, yeah, it's dope.
You want to be like, what the fuck? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, awesome.
It's fictional. All right. Good news is, since I'll do that, we'll have Skype recording too. So if we want to pull something up, we can.
Yeah, I pulled up a YouTube video. I'm not sure if it actually went on the last episode.
No, it was I had it recording, so it should be good.
All right, cool. But we were able to hear it, so I mean, it made sense.
Well, you can still hear it. Doesn't
Right.
mean it recorded.
No, that's
it.
what I know. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna hit record, and then we'll do the test levels.
Okay. But yeah, like
So I am good. Johnny,
Ow now, brown cow.
Juice,
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Juice in the Morning podcast.
Sarah with an A.
Sarah with an A.
That's right.
Is that
So
good?
you have to get closer.
Can I just pull it closer? Does that work?
Well, I usually clean them, but I didn't clean them between the
I've
episodes. so
Definitely put my mouth on those things. So I think we're good.
That's why we try to. Yeah, where she was right there. She's good. Just test one more thing, and we should be good. Bum, 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 bum. My
So I follow you on Instagram, and I gotta ask, what the fuck was that dance video you guys did the other day?
Oh,
Well,
Wait.
maybe save it for the
Maybe save it.
podcast.
wait.
My bad. My bad.
Yeah, there's a whole story with it, so I
right,
definitely,
cool, yeah.
if you want to ask me that, yeah,
I do
there's-
not follow you on Instagram. So
What are you doing, BJ?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like someone like this really hot girl came into.
His favorite's Ben Polizzi. That's what number one on there.
That's right.
Oh, Sarah Pop-Tarts right there.
Sarah Pop Tarts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we'll do this. We'll follow.
Thank you.
They were good.
Oh, I'm almost at 1,700 now.
Hell
that
yeah.
way we'll be able to.
That's the video. Yeah.
I just want to test to see if it'll record once we do this, and
Yep.
then we'll go back and watch it again.
On TikTok too. Love that.
Hey, I'm on TikTok.
I know.
I just got it. That's my first one.
So, but see, the problem is you can't pull TikTok up on
A computer.
computer.
It's just an app.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I tried because I had some TikTok videos that I got like people got mad about. Like I videotaped a kid sitting on the ground at Speedway and put white privilege. You saw that one. People put okay boomer, and I was like, motherfucker, I'm 39.
Dude, TikTok's crazy. It's getting like so many views. Like I
Well,
make-
you know why? Is because it's the only thing not owned by Facebook, and also it's the government doesn't like it because it's not really regulated. It's just fucking wide open.
yeah, people can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and I'm so sick of hot chicks. Like, I could take if I want to. I'm like,
Oh, I like it though because it's like really lighthearted.
Mhm.
Like I feel like so much on like Facebook and Twitter and like
Yes.
even Instagram now is like so political and everyone's like so this and that, and then on TikTok everyone's just like, oh, here's me dancing to nothing. Like
One of my
it's-
favorites
And my
is the
kid-
girl that gets caught
my
making a
kid-
video.
Yeah, my kids,
Oh,
my kids
yeah.
are on it too.
Oh yeah, they do all those weird dances.
No, they're they. I don't know. My kids are 16 and 15.
Oh yeah.
And then they spend most of their time taking a picture of their face and then typing
Yep.
on Snapchat.
Yeah.
There's no content whatsoever.
Yeah, or I serve, and so they'll take pictures of like the floor or
Yep,
like the
yep.
wall, and I'm like, what are you even taking a picture of? Like,
Well, I'm happy it's better than their penis to another
Yeah.
high school kid. And
they're
I'm like,
basically just texting with like a
Yep.
picture. It's yeah.
shrieks, bitches.
Yeah.
It's the way I mean, I thought that's the way Snapchat
Snapchat.
worked until I found out that you could actually like message with it. So I was just old and didn't know.
It was
that-
great
Oh,
for
so you were
titties
always
for-
just taking
Like,
pictures
take-
because you thought you had to.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, we are all good on every front. Juice, you can start it whenever you want and go from there.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Juice in the Morning. I'm your host, Justin Juice Kelly. Sitting across from me is the co-host that has the most beautiful long hair of any man I've ever seen.
It's immaculate, bitch.
Johnny Boughton, how you doing today, man?
I feel like I'm being mollycoddled by booze right now, but
Mollycoddled.
Mollycoddled, yeah.
I've never heard that before. Well, I've heard that before. But we also have in the house tonight, or today, whatever time you're listening to this, we've got BJ Robbins as producer. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
He's going to talk like that the entire time now.
Do you know why? Do you know why I talk like this?
Because of the first episode I ever did? Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Juice in the Morning. This is Justin Juice Kelly.
I was very unsure what to do when I did my first podcast, but now we're just kind of rolling along with it. And in the studio, we have a special guest, Sara Huntington. How are you doing today?
Oh, I feel very special now. Special guest.
I appreciate you coming in. I've seen you do the roast battle. I've seen you do stand-up, and I've just wanted you to come on the show ever since, because the first roast battle I saw you in, it was like one of those things where I wasn't sure that if you were going to do well or not, and then you ended up doing an awesome job. So I was like, dude, we have to have her come on the podcast.
Are your parents retarded? Because you're like one very special girl. That's my only one. No, I'm done.
All right, Johnny.
All
right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
If we need him
Peace
to
out, guys.
leave, just let me know. But no, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I would say stand-up comedian. Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
Like that's what you're here to promote, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what got you into stand-up, and how long have you been doing it?
So I had my 1-year anniversary last week.
Awesome.
I've been doing it.
Did you celebrate or anything?
I mean, I just got drunk like most nights, so. But I happen to be on the show Top Golf does stand up now, and it's actually a really good show. So I celebrated it by doing that for the whole weekend.
That's a very cool thing that they're doing there.
It's so good, and I thought that I was just gonna go there, and everyone was just gonna. They thought that they were coming there to play golf, and they're like, it's a 7-hour wait. You can watch a comedy show, and everyone was just gonna be like, ugh.
Fuck this.
So how's that work? Because I've heard about it, but I haven't actually been there.
It really is a comedy show, and people are coming there for the
comedy,
show specifically. I hosted, so I asked the crowd if they were there for the show or not, and because I just wanted to know what I was getting myself into.
Right.
And most of them were there just to see the show.
That's awesome.
So is there like a room in the upper level or something that just...
They're doing a really good job. The producer of it, the guy running it, he's like really into it, and he's making strides. And
well, and it's like I don't think obviously Top Golf needs help making more money, so bringing in stand-up comedy probably really helps with that.
Yeah, because they were
Good
struggling.
for those guys. Good for those guys.
No,
Yeah,
God,
I think it's gonna bring them back.
they got to be making so much fucking money though. It's always busy.
It's insane.
What
I've
is
never
their
been there.
overhead?
I've never been there when it's not busy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, just to hit golf balls.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like this complex thing that they have to take care of. Like,
Right.
they're just,
kinda
no,
like-
you just hit it in the hole. Like, that's it.
Pretty much just don't fall off this balcony.
Exactly.
and you're good.
And I love
Half their profits probably go to ambulance calls that they have to make. Because even if you just fall in the net and nothing happens, like, they have to call the ambulance.
exactly.
So-
They always ask, "Have you ever been to Top Golf?" And if anybody says no, they have to go through their spiel and they say, if you fall in the net, don't try to climb out, because you have to stay until somebody comes and gets you. Yeah, like that's what they tell you every time you go. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna climb out if I fall into the net.
I'm
if
not just
too
gonna
drunk. And then
Like-
then I might just fall out of the net and like die on the turf or whatever. But I just think that's crazy that there's probably so many people that have fallen in those nets.
Oh, and it's got to be so embarrassing.
we
You
look
just
up
have
a
to lay
statistic?
there, like,
Can we look up a statistic there?
I
and see?
guarantee you that I don't know. I don't think that
What's
Top
the-
Golf doesn't want that in the public eye.
No, they wouldn't have that
I'm
out.
not bragging about it.
That'd be great.
But no, Johnny, you had brought something up about Instagram.
Yeah, I follow
as
you
well.
I follow you on Instagram, and you posted like a TikTok the other day. It was like you're all dressed up in the.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
just curious what that
So
was about.
where does Sarah Pop Tarts the name come from?
so I used to be
It's electric.
Sarah Sweethearts, and I lived with this guy, and the girl that he was dating would just like always be like, "Oh, are you with Sarah Sweetheart again? Sarah Sweet Tarts, Sarah Sweet Farts, Sarah Pop Tarts." And so she like refused to call me by my actual Instagram name. And so like just like out of spite, I was like, Sarah Pop-Tarts is actually hilarious, so I'm just gonna go for it. And then I've just kind of made everything Pop-Tart themed since
Yeah,
then.
has anybody asked you what your favorite Pop-Tart is?
Brown sugar.
Or is it like
no.
an annoying question that a lot of people have asked?
Nobody really asked me that.
What is it though?
Have
The
they
hot
asked
fudge
you,
sundae.
Hot
for
fudge
sure.
sundae?
have they
But
asked you weird questions about like if someone slides in your DM, do they do the Pop-Tart thing?
About 3 months ago, I had No Chaser pick up my video of me drinking A1 steak sauce. And so between like the A1 and the Pop-Tarts, like I got so many food, like disgusting things sent to me by men. Like I'd let you lick off a
Jesus
bottle
Christ.
of steak sauce off me with a Pop-Tart in my mouth. And I'm like, oh my,
Jesus
now I'm
Christ.
just like getting fetishes, I think. Like,
God,
I think
guys are
Now
weird, aren't
this
they?
is the real question with Pop-Tarts. Raw or toasted?
Oh, definitely
raw guy,
toasted.
100%.
Definitely toasted.
I'm a raw guy.
microwaved.
Ooh,
God,
for like 3
wait,
seconds.
what?
I like to get the hot fudge sundae in the plastic, not the one that comes in the box, because if you put that in the microwave, it lights on fire. So the plastic one,
Yep.
and then in the microwave for like 5 seconds.
I've always done the toaster, and my favorite is the chocolate fudge ones. They're like chocolate, and then there's like chocolate on the inside too. Yeah, big fan
The
of those.
off-brand ones are better with that one.
They are. They're like almost flakier, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I'm
delicious.
like just old plain Jane, blueberry or brown sugar ones.
But
you know?
I also like I get in
I don't
trouble.
fuck with Pop-Tarts
I get in
like
trouble
that,
with
though.
my wife a lot because she'll buy stuff for herself to eat, and then like if it's easy, like a Pop-Tart, like
Drunk Justin comes
dude,
home.
yeah, like
Pop-Tarts.
like you know, like Johnny.
I do it too when I go to your house. I'm like, sorry, Jen, I'm gonna
when
eat
the
half
studio
your
was
shit.
at my house, we had a podcast and Johnny like showed up and I had like bought a powdered donut, like little donuts bag at the gas station, and like he like came in and I like had it like all over me, like I passed out.
No,
with
we
it.
went out drinking,
Yeah.
and I woke up because we both passed out on the L-shaped couch.
Yep.
And when I woke up, I woke up because all I heard was like, and I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And I see his pit bull is just eating powdered donuts off of Justin's chest because he's just smeared in powdered donuts.
Yeah.
And there's a trail going from the stairs to the couch.
So the wife is big into the cinnamon Pop-Tarts, and just a recent night, I also came home drunk and took 2 packages upstairs and was like eating them in bed. Woke up and there was like a Pop-Tart stuck to my back, like I didn't know, and then like a half-eaten one on the ground. And I was like, why did the dogs not eat that one? They don't like the cinnamon toast Pop-Tarts apparently.
God bless that woman for loving you, man.
That has
Yeah.
been one of my 2020 goals, is to stop eating so much in bed.
Yeah,
Because, like, you know when you get the crumbs in your bed and then it's just, like, itchy the whole time?
I feel like
God
something's
damn
like
it.
Absolutely.
biting you.
Yeah.
I do the peanuts in the shells when I'm drunk, and I don't know why. I just love those, and then those are the worst to do when you're.
Yep, big. I'm a big pistachio guy, and
Yep.
like
Yeah.
those shells are littered in my bed right now.
Everywhere.
And it's so funny because, like, you know, you can see the clear delineation of my side of the bed and Jen's side of the bed because it's like crumbs, water bottles on my nightstand. Like, it's just a mess. And then hers is all like neat. She's got her pregnancy books all put together. And like, I'm just a mess, man. That's why, you know, I need to calm down a little bit on the partying.
So how did that video come?
Oh, okay. So this is cat yakking.
Can you play the videos?
What the hell is cat yakking?
Well, I'm letting her explain it.
So I work at a nightclub, not the stripper nightclub, like a kind of nightclub, and we would always see these girls like trying to dance, and they were typically like white girls that didn't actually know how to dance, and so when they were trying to twerk, like their shoulders would just move, not their butt at all, and I was like, they look like cats trying to throw up. My friend Ashley was the first person to actually be like, you're cat yakking. And so then just like when we'd see girls at the club, because we worked there, trying to do the dance, we would just go up to them and start doing it with them. And like they would think that we were actually like twerking with them, but really we were just like making fun of them. And so now like I know a lot of people in like the downtown industry. Everyone knows like this cat yakking. So we made a tutorial video.
I love it. I love the one person not moving.
Oh, she's doing the modified version. in case, you have any back issues or overweight. Yeah, so I told her, I was like, I just want you to do like a modified version, but I don't want you to do any, because like when you do workout videos, there's always like the girl, and they're like, if you need the modified version, just look at Stacy. And Stacy's always like not doing it at all. She's just like kind of standing there, but I wanted to like really.
That's awesome.
Make it very obvious that she was doing a modified.
Only after eating a whole bottle of barbecue sauce.
Oh shit!
Can't wait to see all these comments.
So yeah, it's A1, not.
No, definitely that needs to be something that is like maybe a hashtag that goes viral. Cat yakking.
So my like ultimate goal is to go viral doing something. I didn't think it was gonna be for eating A1 sauce. Like that's odd that's the one that they were like, yep, that's it. That one's good.
The internet is a weird place. Things hit that you don't think are gonna hit.
And what was that on? What social media did you have that on?
This is on Instagram.
The A1 sauce,
A1.
though.
Oh, the A1 sauce. If you go up.
I like
and then
the
go down
patch
a
on the
little
forehead.
bit.
That was pretty good too.
I don't think it's.
Was it a
go
story?
to my IGTV maybe.
There it
yeah,
is.
there it is. That 1 minute long video.
This one?
Yeah, so it's not obvious. It was like picked up by No Chaser ended up deleting it after
That's
3
weird.
days. I don't know why. There were some very gross comments on there, so I don't know if that's why they deleted it. I tried to reach out to them, but I'm sure they're just like really busy and haven't gotten back to me yet. But
Are you okay in this one?
that's a makeup tutorial I did.
You got 6,000 views on
Very
that.
Angrily.
You can watch the A1 one. It's.
I want this one. I want to see. I just want to see it. Just this right here. That should be, if you're on Tinder, that should be your Tinder profile picture.
Yes.
Only real people would be sending you a message. That's just, I love how that just stayed right there.
See, and then just people are just
A1
commenting,
sauce.
like everyone just like
What the
A1,
fuck?
like that's all anybody, like that's what I'm known for now.
That's hilarious, though. Like, is there like one guy that like comments on every single photo A1 sauce?
Yeah, there's also a few guys that just no matter what I post on, like I just took pictures of the cats that are downstairs, which I love, by the way, and I'm sure he's just gonna post like some sort of fire emoji or something towards it. I'm like, every time, no matter what.
Is this handle Deadman?
No.
That's a guy that
I'm gonna
works with us.
I'm gonna get a text for that one. I know. All right, so here we go.
Let's see this.
A1 sauce, I'll take it.
Okay, so this started because my boyfriend said that nobody eats A1 sauce on steak unless they're trash. And I was like, I'll eat that shit with no steak. I don't
Straight up.
care. It's delicious.
That's
Straight
what my
up.
wife says.
And
Dude, I put A1 sauce
I
on
do.
everything.
at this
Burgers?
point, it was just to like prove to people that I would do it.
How is it? Oh. How is it?
If you guys want to see this video, it is on Sarah Pop-Tart's Instagram TV.
And then some strange man across the bar. We're at Ollie's downtown. I don't know this guy. He's like, "Are you drinking A1 steak sauce?" I was like, "Yeah, do you want some?" Convinced him within like 7 minutes to eat some as well. Don't know him at all.
Oh, he's down.
Yeah, and then I know this man, but I
Oh,
It is
That's
a
right.
magical sauce.
yeah, it's good. I mean, it's
It
delicious.
doesn't
on
go on
everything.
steaks unless somebody fucks the steak up when they cook it, but
See, I can take it on a steak. Like,
I
No,
also think
I get
that-
offended by it.
I do
Do
too.
you?
I do
If I
too.
buy an Angus steak, right?
What if you get?
I don't get low
I
quality
don't,
steaks.
yeah, like what are you
I
talking
do
about?
occasionally. I'll take the
No,
ones
I'm talking
that
about
are getting ready to go
no,
bad.
my
and
wife
they make
gets
it
it
a
and she
little
makes
cheaper.
a little whatever. I don't care, but like this was Angus steak, pan seared, like everything that you would want. And my youngest son was like, "I'm gonna put ketchup on it," and I hit him.
You should have threw hot sauce in his eyes and roundhouse.
And then she's like,
him.
"I'm gonna put some Worcestershire sauce on it." I was like, "The steak's fine." I was like, "Everything's on it," and she still did it.
little
but she's
S&P.
been-
You know who else likes ketchup on their steak? Patrick Mahomes, motherfucker.
I don't know.
Is he really?
Hmm?
My
Well, that's
my
cool.
wife's been ruining
Last
meat.
episode, we were talking about Patrick Mahomes.
That's cool. I mean, he's still an OG. So
My wife's
I
been
like him.
ruining meat for years.
Mainly
Wait,
yours.
so are you a sauce person at all?
Yes.
You
Oh,
are.
I'm
Yes,
big
I'm a
on
big-
I'm a
sauce.
big sauce person.
I'm a big sauce
Everything.
person. Last night I made like these real nice fancy chicken McNuggets, but they're different breading.
Fancy.
Yeah.
They're not like the other ones that like you can microwave or put them in the oven. They taste the same. But these
Chicken McNuggets?
no,
I think they're just called chicken nuggets. Like,
I call them McNuggets.
McNuggets. Yeah.
I'm an '80s kid, so we call them McNuggets no matter what they are.
No matter what it is. It's like the brand name. It's like Kleenex.
But I ate it with mayonnaise, and my wife's like, "That's so gross." I'm like, "It's really good."
No, I put mayonnaise on my hot dogs too.
I don't fuck with mayonnaise because I don't trust it unless it's at my house.
What?
Because restaurant, it's because mayonnaise has eggs and shit in it, and it can go bad. So I'm just. It's
So how you feel when you're at Jimmy John's? You see 30,000 of them sitting up there.
who eats Jimmy John's, bro?
I love
That
Jimmy
place
John's?
is fucking disgusting.
see, I didn't start
I
eating
hate
there
Jimmy
until I
John's.
found the unwich because I don't like their
yeah.
bread. It's
Their
like,
bread sucks.
Yeah, it's
What?
hard. And
Their bread is
Man,
the fucking
I like
worst,
it.
dude.
I like it a lot.
you literally have to be like, I feel like
Exactly.
like the thickest piece of
Like,
paper,
who-
just like a notebook when I'm eating it.
Who
Like,
fucking makes elastic bread?
like,
it's
I'm
the
literally
worst.
trying to tear it off for
I've
half
had
my time chewing
like,
it.
There are people that like
sometimes.
only get the bread because it's known for being good bread.
No, it's not good bread at all.
just
I think
saying.
it smells
I'm
good.
just
I think that's
saying.
where it tricks you because you walk in, I'm like,
Right.
this bread smells
Have
so
you heard
good.
of, like,
Because
day-old
sometimes my
bread?
work is like, hey, we're gonna get everybody Jimmy John's. What do you want? And I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna go eat something ridiculous just to spite you.
No.
What-
You should try the unwich.
What sandwich place do you eat at?
DeBella's,
Okay.
Mm.
and that's about the only
too,
one.
He's too fancy for Jimmy John's.
I mean,
No, I mean I like DeBella's.
I don't know what the hell DeBella's
you
is.
do like Subway.
I gotta be desperate, but I get a wrap.
Oh yeah.
Dude, their wraps are fire.
Their wraps are pretty
like
good.
the new three different flavors or whatever. Those are really good.
I don't know about. I haven't eaten there in a while, but I mean, I fuck with. If I'm super hungover though, I'll fuck with a Penn Station pizza sub or a cheesesteak,
Penn
bro.
Station.
I will fuck that shit up.
Yeah, I'm starting to get hungry now.
I wish Five Guys did subs.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Think about if Five Guys did subs. I don't
Thinking
know.
about it, and
You're
it
thinking
sounds fantastic. All right. No.
So, do you have a good singing voice? Your laugh is charming, and wow, beautiful singing voice. Love it. This is from.
God, let's read all the comments. That's
When I-
fun.
Well, there's Dyke with the Statue of Liberty. With
I'm
the
sure
trash
she
can.
would enjoy the PTSD of rereading these.
I don't get what's the Statue of Liberty in the trash can.
So I'm from Liberty, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Liberty
He's
trash.
calling you trash.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's
So-
saying.
What a dyke.
I did Dyke's brunch podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He said be there at noon, and I'm very anal about being on time, and just, and I get there and he and his roommate moved out, and I didn't know it, and the house was like just bare. It's in Irvington, right? And I
Roommate just moved out.
and he
Like
goes,
7 months ago. I just haven't had time to buy new shit.
well, why he moved out was hilarious, and I won't tell the story on there. I'll tell you guys later, but it's a hilarious story why he moved out because just typical Dyke. So he's like, yeah, my roommate moved out. He was an art guy. He used to have a bunch of stuff on the walls. That's why
7
it's
months
bare.
ago.
And I go, Dyke, like, this is what I expect your house to look like. You showed up with hams at the studio to drink. Like, this
shit.
is what I
Those
expect.
those were in there for.
They're
I'm
still
not
there.
kidding. Like
There's
almost
2 left
almost
down
a
there.
year. Yeah.
There's 30-pack of them.
Yep.
We can invite Fine Silver back. He'll drink them.
That's true. Love that guy.
But let's not invite him back, please.
Oh, shut up.
Just-
Chef Squid's a good guy.
he is a good guy.
Is he the one with the SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He's a good
Okay.
guy. He's funny.
Is he?
He did well last night.
Did he? I don't know. He just looks like a guy that's on the verge of suicide.
Dude, listen, if I was his neighbor and I started hearing depressing music, all I'm waiting for is a gunshot. Straight up.
He doesn't like me. He doesn't. He,
Sir,
he
coming
doesn't-
out hot this episode.
He doesn't like me anyway.
I love it.
I would mute whatever I'm listening to and put my ear to the wall just to hear the Cobain go off.
I don't know. Who did we say he looked like with Down syndrome?
Oh shit. Oh,
Is it
Is it the guy from Superbad?
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill. Yeah.
We
It's like if Jonah Hill fucked an Ewok and that child had Down syndrome.
guys?
It was all.
Come on.
It was your fault though, Juice. It was all Juice's fault because we
This
just
isn't the roast Darren Fine Silver podcast.
It,
right?
No.
it was when he was on.
we won't waste any more breath on him. But anyways,
I hope those McChickens were good.
yeah, I know. Can you get that mayonnaise off your face, please?
Dude, that was the most awkward. Oh shit.
Clammy handshakes. Awesome. Awesome. So Sarah, you came over here, right? And you came in and you walk in here, and this house is kind of a different kind of house, right? It's not a bad house. It's you walk in the garage. There's a roulette table. There's a bar. There's stripper cats in the house.
Yep.
There's no women here, obviously. So, but you came in, you handled yourself probably better than most.
Yeah.
You really did, yeah. Because most people come in and just start asking a bunch of questions. You just came in, saw the cats, started playing with them, and you were just...
Oh, there were cats. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Good to go with cats.
Yeah, I was like, oh, a cat, cool. Now I don't have to talk to you guys. You guys aren't going to ask me about my sports hat, even though you did. I have like a...
Those guys are sport. Those two are brothers.
Illinois?
Yeah, and I wear it backwards so nobody asks me anything about it because I don't know anything. And as soon as I turn around, he goes, "Is that?"
That's a great strategy, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Like,
that's...
this could
I would have
be-
never thought to do that because I get annoyed when people are
I
like,
do it
oh,
all-
how about those Colts? Because I'm wearing a sweatshirt and I'm like, don't fucking talk to me.
Yeah, just wear it backwards or inside out, I guess.
Well, that's
but
because,
let him continue with this story.
that's because you look
magical.
like a fucking Colts cheerleader today, like you're trying out.
BJ gives me shit.
You do.
Hey,
have
are you gonna mow the yard after
Cats.
this? Like, look at you got the.
Oh, the best thing I heard last night, my sons were playing Grand Theft Auto. My youngest got on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well fuck you. Your calves have no definition." I was just like, "Is that being me now
what?
in 2020?"
Yeah, I think people are more specific
sure.
with their insults
Both
now.
both of my kids are great shape, 6-pack, whatever. Hate them because they look great. And but yeah, that's the insult. And the other insult was like, oh, they're playing Madden. He's like, man, that play is so AIDS. AIDS.
Oh
AIDS.
shit!
Still to this day, don't know why you would say that. And,
Wow.
and my son's like, yeah, it's AIDS. It's a,
Because it's bad.
and I was like, it's, and he was just like, well, you know, we don't
AIDS
like.
is bad.
He goes, well, we don't like to say gay anymore, so we say
Yeah.
AIDS. I'm like,
Wow. So
Yeah.
let's offend a totally different culture.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's a culture.
My
My culture is AIDS, so took my ancestry DNA test and found out I'm AIDS.
All right, valid point.
it makes no sense to me. It makes
oh god, this is good.
You're an otter, though, for sure. Just looking at you.
An
What?
otter.
what's
Never
it-
mind.
me.
No, him,
Are you
him.
saying like the animal I look like?
You're
No.
a power bottom. Remember?
No, you're an otter.
I've always
you're
made
an
that
otter,
joke,
You're,
but
you're
I
an
don't-
otter bull.
Oh, what?
Gay terminology. It's how they define their.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, I heard about the otter.
I was
It's like
once I was once classified as a bear.
Really?
By another
you
I just
at a
don't. I don't
gay
think you're.
bar?
I don't think you're hairy
No,
enough.
I had a couple of gay employees that
I
are
was
still
gonna
two of my
s-
close
okay.
friends. One did gay porn and we found it. Hilarious.
That's insane.
The other gay guy searched for it and found it, and we were at work and he was showing it to us, and he said, "I just want to let you know before you watch this, I was gay before I watched this." I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "I'm not gay anymore." I was like, he goes, "This video is so bad."
Oh my god.
Because Carl's awesome. Carl would always we worked together, we worked in sales, and the women would always say, your wife must be so lucky. And he goes, yeah, he is. Just watch their face.
Oh my.
Because he wasn't flamboyant. He wasn't.
Yeah.
But
He
Mark,
was a bear.
no.
No.
He was
I'm gonna take this dick.
He was the woman of the relationship, but he always dressed in like Rolex watches, real nice necklace.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he didn't have any of the stereotypes. Now Mark has all the stereotypes. He sounded gay. He had an eagle tattooed on his dick in the army.
What?
Um,
Whoa! He's gonna
On
let
it.
that bitch fly.
On it.
Did you see it?
Yeah, in the video, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It was, and then I never understood why he was the guys would always give me hell.
How did he do it? From the head back?
Does
Yeah,
it stand
yeah,
for
back
from
free
the-
bird?
I don't know. Like all I know is it looked like if I'm gonna get that tattoo, like I would have to make sure I'm well endowed.
Yeah, because
It was a huge letdown. It was like someone shot the bird. It
dude,
was
I've got a buddy that tattooed a dragon on his dick. Like,
That's what. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the dragon from the top to the belly, navel, all the way down.
yeah, that's kind of what he did. And
That is. I don't
Is
know.
is the penis the tail? Is that?
No, I think
no,
it's
the head is the actual head of the dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's supposed
He-
to
he
breathe
called
fire,
it-
but that sounds like a bad STD, though.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so he found the video, he showed it to us, and we never thought it was real, right? his name was Jeff Tuck. That was his porn name was Jeff Tuck, right?
What the fuck?
And so we found it and we watched it, and it was by far the hilarious thing I've ever seen. Because the dialogue is so cheesy. Because I listened to the dialogue.
So this wasn't a home video. This was actually them trying to make a
He got
porn.
paid $10,000 for this, for this video.
Whoa, $10,000? What are you doing?
10
after
grand
the
to
show,
eat.
Yeah.
Justin?
Wait. I'm not eating ass for $10,000. And it was on a workbench. That was the story. Like, you're supposed to be working. He's like, I'm not working hard at all. And I'm like, and then I was like, oh my God, I can't stop watching this. And so he found out we watched it, and he was just like,
How do you come back from that?
What do you
I
mean?
couldn't look at somebody normally if I watched them.
Dude,
in a porn.
Mark's awesome. I mean, these guys overcame. They're older than me, about 10 years older than me.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the movie.
They overcame growing up in small towns. They married women because they were scared to be gay. Carl's dad was actually a bank manager at that time, which was huge in a small town. He actually had married, had kids because they were afraid to admit they were gay. So they went through that time. So Mark went in the military, and Mark tells some of the. I tried to get him on the podcast for 4 years because his stories are just unreal about the parties in Chicago, and then how he got picked up at bars, we got offered this money, and then when they do gay pride in Chicago, like they rent out whole hotels and the doors stay open. You can walk in and join with whatever you want to join in.
Dude, he's living
Yeah.
just like Mick Jagger and David Bowie.
Yeah, but if you see him, he's always in nice dress pants, sweater vest, beard. He's a grandpa. You can never tell how crazy he is. And that's why I'm so enamored with, like, tell me more, because compared to, like, my life, I'm like, dude, like, you've lived a life.
Yeah.
But he was like, if you were gay, you'd be a bear. And I was like, well, what does that mean? So, of course, me and Asian Sensation was like, let's look this up. And I'm like,
Whoa!
You're like, that looks exactly like me.
That whole part of the conversation being that, like, we went around so many things, and then you tied it back to the.
Right, it's beautiful.
That was good. I like
it's beautiful.
that.
That's
Good
why,
work.
that's why I said the talent.
That's why I'm gonna lobby for him.
I
to
thought he
be
was
a
going to
host.
forget to tie it back to the last thing, but he didn't.
I
Good
think we all
job.
got quiet and just like waited. Like, oh, right. Okay.
Well, I mean, just the same way, like, we saw her with this, and we, like, it's something that you see a very attractive girl who's in comedy, and then doesn't care to make a fool of herself on video, but doing it the opposite way of most people on social media.
Right.
It's cyclical.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no boobs hanging out. There's no twerking video. There's a cat vomit video.
It's crazy that like I still get guys hitting on me in weird ways. Like I can't imagine the girls that do have like their boobs out and like.
Dude, it's got to be disgusting.
But I'm like the things they probably get in their DM would probably make even you guys.
I
cringe.
would love to do like an entire segment of just like the slides of the DMs. Like, please share some of your.
See.
I would never. I mean,
Oh, she's like going to pull it up right now for
What
us.
I have right now.
What I have right
I-
now, it's like you
I
got to
have
go
them on
through
like
and
auto delete if I haven't accepted
nice.
them.
Wait, you can do that?
yeah,
it's a good move.
yeah, because like when
I'm not popular enough to
When we
have
had
to
more-
auto delete
I
anything.
didn't even know that was an option.
I get super excited when anybody posts
Like,
anything on there.
when we tried to book for the shows when we first started, you remember you go to Instagram and say, "Hey, I'm a big fan," and then it'll stay in there, and after a while, it'll just disappear because
Okay.
if they're of certain celebrity status or whatever, or if they're a girl trying not to be violated on social
Right.
media.
I kind of wish we had that for our Facebook page though.
So you got
There's
anything
some
you got anything
fucking
juicy over
weirdos in
there?
Not really.
No
I,
juicy DMs?
Asked some guy what I was, or not. I didn't ask him. I just asked what I was making. It's guacamole.
Non-ergonomic dildo.
What?
So I was making guacamole in like an actual.
Like the mortar
Guacamole
and
making.
pestle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "What am I making?" And he said, "A non-ergonomic dildo."
Non-ergonomic.
Ergonomic. What is that? What is
Which I think ergonomic, I think he's not
Nature.
utilizing that correctly.
No, he's not.
Because ergonomic would be like you can use it without like hurting your back or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would say
Worst pickup line ever.
I love when people use words in like the wrong context.
Yeah, that guy's trying to be smart, but
Yeah.
is not.
I do that all the time, actually.
Yeah, you do. You're bad about that.
You're the worst at it, though.
No, I use words correctly all the time, buddy.
I know.
I said delineate earlier about my dirty crumb bed, so I use that.
Your
I use that cor-
vocabulary is
I
so
use that
gregarious.
correctly.
You have
Well,
such a
Gregarious
gregarious
is
personality.
Gregarious. You used that wrong just
No, I
now
didn't.
until you said it the second time.
I know. That's why
Yeah,
I fucking
whatever.
revived
All
you.
right.
Shut up, man.
So,
A lot of gay tension.
so we didn't even ask you though yet. what made you want to do stand-up comedy?
Oh yeah, the first question.
What happened?
Well, I think every comic had like a little bit of a interesting upbringing or something. For me, it was just like I was raised. My town has like 2,500 people in it, and now I live in Indy, and I think I just view things in a very obscure way because of that. Because I'm so used to small town, and then I see these things happening here, and my brain it just works differently because of that. But I don't know how to make this short. So I was living with a guy in Indianapolis. I moved here for him. I ended up going out one night by myself because that's what you do when you're just going through a great time in your life. And I met this guy, Chris Bowers, at the bar.
He's a funny dude, by the way.
Chris Bowers is a stand-up comic.
I want him to come on the show sometime.
I will let him know.
Yeah.
So he, within 24 hours, told me to break up with my boyfriend, move out of his house, move into his spare bedroom with him and his girlfriend.
God damn, what a fucking jeez.
He's pretty persuasive then.
Well, I also had I just needed somebody to pull it. I was at like a weird moment, and so I move in, but he had forgotten the night before. He got drunk and told his friend Joey Bender, who's also he's a little bit on the scene, that he could move in as well. So
Nice.
Did you
Joey
guys
and
fight
I
to the death?
Nope.
Bunk beds?
Well, we had one rule: we weren't allowed to have sex. So we didn't. But for 2 months, we slept in the same bed.
Oh, nice.
True, that's rough.
That's interesting, though.
But because of them, living with them, Joey was trying to start doing comedy, and so I was going to open mics with him, and I just watched other people get up there, and I'm like, I have some stuff, and I actually waited for Bowers to move out to LA, and then I did my first open mic, and
Where at?
I did
Do you
it
remember?
at it was the Red Flag one that used to be Dugout.
Dugout.
The ice cream social.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the first time I ever actually.
How'd it go? Like, did you just eat all the dicks, or was it, or
No.
were you just comfortable?
Don't
laugh.
No,
Don't
I-
laugh just because.
you saying that though made me want to ask a question though, because like comedians always talk about eating a dick on stage because they did bad. Is it the same terminology if you're female?
Yeah. Listen, girls don't love eating dick. We're not like, oh my god,
that's
I
what
can't
I'm
wait to
saying.
do that again. Yeah, it's the same terminology.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
we don't love it. We do it for you.
Right.
I mean, that first set
Well,
Well,
I've known a few whores.
was.
Well,
Yeah.
you're watching porn.
No,
it's
no, I actually
different.
dated them.
No, I know.
And it
a few
scared
people
me
that,
as much as they brought that up, and then that's one of the reasons I stopped seeing them. It was weird. Not like, hey, how are you doing in the morning? It was like, hey, I was like, we need to stop seeing each other. Like, she had
Well,
issues.
Yeah, and I think that was just her way of like trying to impress you.
Yeah.
She probably didn't have like the biggest brain.
Actually, she was actually
She's
in
like, but my mouth though.
no, she was actually in law school. Actually, what? Yeah, true
She was
story.
just a crazy person. I assume.
No, she was
Breaking
crazy.
the law.
She was crazy. Because I always say dying a slow death. Like when I bomb, I say I died a slow death. I'm like, wow, I'm watching them literally die on stage.
Yeah.
Because that's where, because I was,
Now I feel weird because all I think of is gobble, 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 gobble.
I don't know.
I just tried to be funny. My bad.
So the first time though, it go well.
I don't know.
Not great.
I barely. I think I was so nervous.
You stuck with it though.
Yeah, I think I was so nervous. Like I remember hearing people laugh, but I don't know what. I didn't record it. I didn't know what parts they laughed at. Now I record everything and I listen back because I still do that where I'm just like going through the motions and don't really pay attention. But I know people laughed. I don't know if they were laughing at me or with me. But I think I was just always really comfortable on stage. Like I love. My family has like videos of me when I'm like 3 or 4 years old, like standing on like any table in a restaurant. I grew up like with hillbillies, so they would take me to the bars and stuff. And
Now, were there any comedians that you saw when you were a youngster that kind of influenced you to navigate towards that path?
I mean, my dad was pretty into it, but he was more like Cat Williams, Ron White. He's a big Ron White fan. The only like female comedian he really watched was like Kathleen Madigan.
Yeah.
And I love her. I think I try not to be like anyone because they tell you not to.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to like relate to anyone as far as comedy goes, it would be more like her.
I think of Kate Quigley when I see you.
I don't know who that is.
Well, yeah, she's a comedian that she's part of like the Burt Kreischer, Tom
Oh,
Segura,
yeah.
like she's part of that group, and Theo Von and those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm like a woke woman comic, if that makes sense.
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of like woke
Thank you
girls
for
that
that.
talk. Well,
Thank
and
you
I
for
don't
that.
see anything wrong with it. I mean, I think you talk about what's relatable to you, and like, I've never had. I mean, I'm sure I've been like harassed or something, but like that's never affected me to the point where I'm like, I need to make a joke about
Right.
this. Like, I'm like, let's talk about the dick tattoo I got. That's funny. Like, yeah,
No,
so-
the bit about the purse thing was fantastic, and it was great that you did that. And my wife was in attendance at that night of Kettle Top. Dude, it was so funny because we were just looking at her like, yeah, you're who she's talking about right now. You're no fun.
yeah. I know, and that's kind of I escalated
She's fun,
that
by the
joke
way.
by. I'm kidding. If you're listening, I'm sure you were fun.
Don't worry, she doesn't fucking listen to anything I
Okay,
do.
I'm sure you were fun at some point. But I'd always see the women in the crowd when I would say that, and they'd be like,
But that's why I love
That's awesome.
I love that you came up with that bit, because that I would like to in my life come up with a bit where people fully like react to it to the person that they're sitting next to.
well, you have to make it so broad but so specific,
Right.
you know, and that's what like a killer and I don't know.
And I
I've
just
only-
liked it. I that was one of my favorite things I've ever
It was
heard.
one of the first jokes I ever wrote. When I first wrote it, it wasn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that I wanted to somehow talk about getting from small purse to big purse
Yeah.
and why you're more responsible. And I've built, and I still am every day. I'm still working.
Yeah, you're
on
still
that joke.
always editing them, right?
Yeah. But I think that was one of my first like topics. I thought like this is so broad, but I can make it so specific,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people will find it funny. Not just women, not just men, not just older people, younger people. It's kind of everyone can relate to that.
Do you mind if I ask what kind of like what your writing process is? Like, do you ever go up on stage and like you just have an idea and you run with it, or are you more of like put some headphones in, start writing,
don't-
start typing?
I don't write, but I think of topics, and I'm trying to get better about this. I forget whose podcast it was, but I just listened to his. He was talking about how you have to be okay with just writing things down that aren't funny,
Right.
and you can make them funny later. But just so I'm trying to
sounds
work
like
on this
Rogan.
thing. Do you guys know Gypsy Rose?
I do not. no.
Yeah.
It was a girl. Her mom had Munchausen syndrome and basically made her sit in a wheelchair. And they got
Oh,
all
yeah.
this money, and then she
Yep.
ends up killing her
I
mom because
watched
she won't
that.
let her have sex with her boyfriend. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my wife
Did you
watched
watch
that.
that
Hold
on
on.
Amazon?
Hold
Yeah.
on, time
I
out.
came in on
the
that
whole-
while
the
my
whole-
wife was watching
I'm
it.
fascinated with this. What's it called?
It's what's the name of it?
It's well, there's Mommy Dearest,
Yeah.
and then The Act.
It's a documentary.
No, it's a there's a documentary on it, but then they also
It's
did
like a reenactment.
yeah, and I watched it, and I woke up during the middle of, like the hotel scene with her and her boyfriend, and it was the most awkward sex I've ever seen. And the other part was like
I'll send you a video
I
later.
have kids. I have two. No, trust me, I've seen my own. Like even my wife left during the middle of it, and but watching what happened to that girl, like I have kids, and I was emotional watching it, and like it made you so angry. Like there's nothing wrong with this kid.
Yeah.
So
that
she
story
forces her
just-
in a wheelchair.
All kinds of shit.
Did they end up
Yeah.
killing the mom or something?
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was the main point they were driving.
So her
around
whole
there,
life,
just to-
she told her that she has all this stuff wrong with her. You know, you have leukemia, and you're bound to a wheelchair. And she got older, and she realized like I can walk.
Yeah, at what point do you say, "Oh, I can stand up"?
And there was a doctor who was like calling around. She was like an Indian doctor in it, and she caught on to it. And then that's when the mom would like then go try to keep going to the same doctor.
But at what age are you put in a wheelchair and then you get an itch on your leg and you're like,
But no. She was heavily no.
wait a minute.
Heavily medicated.
I mean, she was on.
Oh,
some,
they like sedated her? and
Yeah,
shit?
she was like on some fun medicine, right? Where you don't even like,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
then it stunted her
So-
growth, her teeth, her hair.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Like all her teeth rotted out.
Dude, please text
Like-
us the name of this because I have to watch
I
this.
watched it, and I don't get uncomfortable. Like I've seen some bad shit in my life, but I got uncomfortable watching that. I was just
Well, I
like,
think what's crazy is like her mom like bound her to a wheelchair, all this stuff, and then she was like, and also you can't have sex with that boy, and she was like, you're out, bitch. No,
Yeah.
I'm getting that dick.
Yeah, like, he was like, that's the final straw. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a miracle. I can stand up and suck some dick now, Mom.
oh, I just keep seeing that.
well, you
little-
really don't have to stand up. But the wheelchair would actually
That-
make that
that
more
made it
convenient.
easier, yeah.
Oh. Ooh, now I kind of want to. Never mind. Not gonna
It's
go there.
ama-
New
it's a-
fantasy. Wheelchair. Never mind.
It's amazing though, just like
It sounds like he just said he wanted to fuck a vegetable,
Yeah.
basically.
just like your story.
Oh, I've done that. We've used grapefruit before.
Ugh.
Basically what it sounded like. he was
Mayonnaise.
saying.
You came from a small town, and then you moved here with your transition, and you moved here with a dude.
See, yeah, yeah,
Did you go to Ball State?
yeah.
Me too. I didn't graduate, though.
Oh, well, I did.
Van Wilder of Ball State.
I was there for like 8 years. It
Me
was
too.
ridiculous.
It still didn't. That's impressive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It is.
It's
And
rough.
yeah. And
I love stealing
I was
cocaine.
I was paying out of pocket for school instead of taking
Probably
loans.
still paying
so.
for it then.
But
No,
what,
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
but what was your welcome to Indianapolis moment? Because I have mine. Because I grew up in Seymour, which is southern Indiana.
Yeah. My grandpa lived there.
And so we moved to Indianapolis in 2002. I was working at 21st and Post. CVS had moved us up here for management positions. First night there, I'm all happy, big city. Didn't realize that 21st and Post is a shithole.
Mm-hmm.
A lady walks in right around your age, and I was like, hey, what can I help you with? She's like, I just got raped in your parking lot. And I was like, I'm sorry?
Holy fuck.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
She's like, I just got raped. And I was like, are you serious? Yeah, and like, she's like, and so we called 911.
She was
and
probably in shock too.
Yeah,
Like,
she was in
like,
shock.
you said it that
first
clearly.
night, that was my first night at work. And I called my wife, and I was like, where the fuck am I? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Is your wife from Seymour as well?
Well,
No, she's from Delaware, actually.
It's crazy that
Oh, really?
you like had not heard bad things because even growing up, like I heard terrible things about certain parts of the city.
Oh, my grandma still calls me. So are you guys familiar with Connorsville, Indiana?
yeah.
Like most
Oh, yeah.
drug-ridden place in the whole world, and she'll still call me and be like, well, just be careful in that city. I heard there's like shootings there. And I was like, Grandma, you are more likely to get shot than I am.
They're going to try to steal your pills,
yeah,
Grandma.
they
Connorsville and Gary, Indiana are like,
yeah, like they are cooking meth in their basements there. At
Yep.
least like they're doing it there and not here. Like
Yeah.
I just have to
Yeah.
be worried about
hope your neighbor
walking
doesn't
around at
blow your
night.
house up.
Yeah.
That's like somebody from Scottsburg who AIDS broke out in Scottsburg like a couple years ago because they were shut down a lot of the
I didn't know
places.
Scottsburg existed.
Nor did I.
Scottsburg, it's Scott County. It goes like Seymour or whatever. Keep moving. It's southern. It's a place where there's no diversity,
Right.
right?
Kind of like this podcast.
Well, I have podcasts I produce with diversity. Yeah, I know. I'm usually the darkest one in the room. I know. But anyways, so someone from Scott County, I knew them. They're like, "Oh, you still live up here?" Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, I work in 16th and Arnold." Like, man, I would never work up here. It's too dangerous. I was like, you just had 5 people die of overdose of heroin, and 3 people just got AIDS. And the governor actually made it a state of emergency, and they were giving out clean needles so they wouldn't give each other AIDS.
Jesus
Right.
Christ.
And you're worried about me driving around 465.
So, what was your welcome to Indianapolis moment?
God, I don't think I really
Did you have one?
I don't think so because I
I think-
moved to the north side. So for me, it was more
Oh,
like
Bougie.
of course
yeah,
you did.
like I moved to like 82nd Keystone at the Crossing. I think for me, it was more. I had the opposite thing where like I thought I didn't know you couldn't go to the grocery store in your pajamas.
Right.
Like I thought that was normal, and I like walked in there and I just felt all these like Carmel moms like.
I worked in Carmel for a year, and it was by far the worst experience ever.
It's so funny because
Terrible.
we're talking shit, but like my wife and I are like, yeah, we're gonna move to Carmel whenever
Well, all the people I know,
Whenever
like,
you get really boring.
exactly.
Yeah,
Dude,
You're like,
we're
she's like,
already
once
there.
I start carrying this suitcase around, we're moving to Carmel.
I was working.
I can't wait to go hang out with my Carmel buddy.
Oh, I
It's
know.
gonna be this fucking thing.
I was in Carmel.
Babe,
It's
kids,
like a beach bag.
Yeah.
babe, kids, get ready. We're gonna
She
go to
literally
Carmel
puts
and
the
hang out.
kids in the bag. Get in.
I went to the Gitgo in Carmel the other day. I went my doctor's on 116th Street up there because he moved from Greenwood to Carmel, fucker. And so
Why'd you do quotations? Greenwood to Carmel.
well because he said more of my he said this is a better place to have my practice, and I was like, but I live there. He's my doctor for like 20 years. He's a great guy, but
Doctor moving to Carmel.
Dr. House.
Shocker.
HOWSE.
Okay, never mind. I was about to say. I love that.
No, we get along. He knows I talked to him on the podcast, and I've invited him on.
Dude, I hope he listens.
I think he did a few of them. He got pissed or whatever. Because last time I told him, I said he's like, looks like you gained a few pounds, and I was like, looks like I'm not the only one. And I told the story on there, and he's like, so you. He said my weight struggles is funny. He's only 49. He's like 10 years older than me, so he's still not that old. But anyways, I went to the Get and Go, and like I was driving my wife's Dodge Caliber, and then like every other car beside me was a Range Rover Mercedes. And when they were walking in, they just kept looking back at me like I was going to break into their It was the worst feeling in the world. And then a truck full of migrant workers, they were migrant workers, pulled up, and it was like the whole place just stopped. And they all just, they were so terrified.
Yeah, it's funny because you can have a small town and no diversity, but then you have a big city with lots of money and zero diversity. It's like kind of parallels right there.
How many people did you graduate with?
So we are the only school in the entire county, so it's actually like
So
kind
pretty
of
decent size.
Where the fuck is Liberty?
To answer that question, my graduating class is like 111, I think, like that, something like that.
I graduated at 68, so.
But keep in mind,
we were like 800.
there's only like 2,000 something people in
Right,
the whole town. So it's kind
So
of
literally all the kids went there.
Yeah, it was kind of a big class actually. And then Liberty. So if you were, do you know Richmond, Indiana?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Richmond I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
Like Richmond, Terre Haute, Culver, and French Lick. I am familiar with those because I got family there.
Yeah, the diagonal with it.
Yeah.
So if you were to keep going past Richmond, right before you hit Ohio, you'll hit Liberty.
Oh.
Like
So
no
you
McDonald's.
can't drive for shit because you're that close to Ohio. Does that like bleed over?
Yes.
It has to.
I'm a terrible, like, I would not recommend me driving anywhere. Like, when I saw it was in Greenwood, I was like, fuck.
Ohio drivers are the worst.
It's pretty easy to get to this place, though. There's only just a few turns.
Yeah, but I don't understand why we had to do roundabouts on the south side.
Right.
Carmel had roundabouts. Let Carmel have them. But Greenwood
Everybody
said no.
wants roundabouts.
No, the people in Center Grove said no. We go to Greenwood. Sometimes you need to have roundabouts.
You can have your roundabouts and racism.
And then
We're going to have our stop signs and diversity.
and then there's Westfield where you're stoned out of your mind trying to drive and there's 4 fucking lane roundabouts. You have no clue what's going on. It's the worst thing ever.
That's the only time I get in.
I'm not stoned out of my mind a lot, but I can tell how that would be a problem.
Dude, it becomes a big problem. Like, I'm trying to play indoor basketball, and I'm like, where? You know, to stamp on a
It's
brake.
4 lanes, and then you have to. You're on the inside lane, but you have to get 4 lanes over to get the road that you need.
yeah.
You're having anxiety, and then
Right.
your wife's in the car like, "You okay?" And then you're like, "Shut up!" Like, I'll
Shut
get
up, bitch.
this.
What? No, I was kidding.
My
No.
mom, like, lost her mind when she was trying to get around those roundabouts. She was like, first off, we don't even have stop lights in my
Just
town.
stop
We just have
signs.
like 3 stop signs. And no joke, one of my cousin's friends was in Vegas with us, and my friend is from Richmond, and she goes, "Oh my God, you're from Richmond? I don't ever go over there because they got those one-way streets over there, and I don't know how to use them." I was like,
Is she taken?
no, she is single and looking, I'm sure. Shauna, if you're listening.
And her name's Shauna, too. Awesome.
Yeah.
No, one thing that drives me insane
Shawana,
about
man.
my wife is that she will, I think, inappropriately get freaked out. Like if I'm driving, like if I like go to like kind of swerve a little
Oh,
bit.
I hear it when I'm in the back
she's-
seat sometimes.
And what's funny is when she does that, it startles me, and I don't like being scared. So like I yell at her because I'm like, "Yeah, I got it, okay? Like it's okay. Nothing's happening right
Sitting in the back seat with you two driving somewhere is a fucking comedy show in itself.
But I hate her driving, so I can't
Because
let her drive
there's
anywhere.
nothing like her saying something when she startles you, and then you just look at her and you're like, "Get crunk, motherfucker!" And then you just
Yes,
turn
I
it-
also
you
do turn the music
you
up really
turn it
loud.
up so
My
loud.
wife hates that too. Yep. I'm starting to realize through this podcast that she pretty much hates me. I'm assuming.
So, well, no, and that's the funny part about it is my wife will be, I'll hit the rumble strip a little bit on the interstate, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, who totaled 3 cars and almost died? Me or you? And then I'm like, oh, you almost did die.
Well, it's like the funniest thing about me and my wife is she just doesn't
exist. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Something that
That's not me hitting on you.
don't take it the wrong way.
Shauna, though, if you're listening.
He's a very nice boy. I promise. He's got a very nice. I think the beginning of a mullet over there.
If you ever call me a boy again, I'll fucking stab you in the trachea.
No, you won't.
So are you dating and are you?
Yeah, I have a boyfriend. I don't know why that came out. So yeah. I
I guess he likes me a little bit.
That was the most anti-gay I have a boyfriend I've ever heard. But how's it? Because a lot of comedy is a boys' club. And then
Ooh, that's a good question.
and how does
Don't give him a big head.
No, I mean look,
It's a good question that he's getting
look
ready
at
to
the size
dive
of my
into.
head. How was that getting used to? Because me and you actually had a great conversation downstairs. Because I know I'm different downstairs than I am up here, kind of an ass, but it's very cliquey, right? And then also it's a lot of a boys' club. And I've done Joker stand up, open mic, which I love a lot of those guys. Talked about Ben and Ray,
Yeah.
but it can be if you're new to a certain area and doing those open mics, it's by far one of the most nerve-wracking things, is it? So how does he go with you, or do you just go?
No, I mean he will. He's really supportive. Like he thinks,
My wife does not like to go when I did it because I would put her in the act.
Oh,
Because
see, he's in some of my acts too. And one time I said something. Well, I took it out of the joke, so I'll just say it. I was like, I'm dating one guy. Well, that's at least what I tell him. And he was in the crowd, and he just goes, "What?" And so like a lot of people came up to me after the show, and they were like, "Was that really your boyfriend?" And he's just like back there, like.
We're gonna fight when we get home.
But he's super supportive. He thinks it's great that I do it, and there's like no jealousy or anything.
does he think you're funny?
He thinks he's funnier than me, which.
Oh, no.
But he's a DJ too, so I'm like, well, I know
Who's
just
not?
as much music as you, so like I know how to push it. I'm just
How
kidding.
hard
But
is-
like if we're gonna like tell each other like
How
who's funnier
hard-
or who's better,
Let's
like
be honest. How hard is it to be a DJ these days?
okay, so here we go.
Oh, dude,
I
he's
feel
gonna
like
come through the podcast and punch you in the face. Like it's gonna come through the microphone.
I
To
used
me?
to I
Yeah.
used to DJ with
I dare.
turntables, with
Dare.
records, timing,
Yeah.
the BPM, and now a lot of people just have the songs, they upload it on their Mac, and they're mixing on their Mac.
Well, that's not necessarily true. They're still having to use like the BPM. They're still like they make the stuff
Milk
on
in the
like
teats.
I think it's like Serato is what a lot of people use. So they're making the music on there, but they still have to match the BPMs. They still have to start it at the right time.
I still have that program and all that also. But like now that I had that compared to what I used to have to do, I was like, dude,
Yeah.
it's so much easier now.
Well, also people are more into producing.
I got
music
a
now.
quick question.
Yep.
Is this the BJ and Sarah show or is this Juice in the Morning?
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm good with it.
Well, I was
No,
like,
go
let
ahead.
me tell you.
Go ahead. No, keep
No,
it
I'm
up.
just-
It's
I'm
fucking
just being
because you have the
I'm being
best
a
setup
dick.
ever. You can always have your own hype man. Like you two could just do your own shows because you have someone to play music and all that other stuff. So you have a great setup. Because what do you have a walk up song? Do you have one yet, Juice? A walk up song?
I did.
Is it Bradley Cooper?
No. Asked me last. What song do you want to like go up to? And
I
was
can't
like,
wait.
I was like, no. And the first thing that popped into my head was the song that I want played at my funeral. My Hero,
God
Foo Fighters.
damn it.
Oh god.
Don't do.
I'm not even playing.
I don't care. I don't care. I am a self-proclaimed douchebag. People know that I'm a douchebag. I like the things that I like, and I'm not going to hide from it.
That's why
I'm
I
just
love
gonna
you, bro.
embrace it and enjoy it.
That's why I love you, big bro.
I seriously.
But
Sarah,
that-
do you have one?
For the roast thing, I did Ja Rule, I'm Real.
Hell yeah.
Because at the very beginning, he goes, "What's my motherfucking name?" And I was just gonna be like,
Are you Ellie?
"Yeah."
Now, for the longest time, it wasn't until I became an adult that I realized she was spelling his last name.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, I was really legitimately thinking like, "Are you Ellie?"
I
Like,
thought she was saying, "Are you ready?"
No.
That's what I
no,
thought she was
she's
saying.
like legitimately spelling out his
Dude,
last
there's
name. And it
that's
fuck-
something that I just learned, and I do that all the time. Like song lyrics that I like finally like actually know what they are.
You
I
get-
do it all the
Well,
time.
you know the best thing in the world is YouTube. You play one of your, then you'll go through like, I want to make sure I have those lyrics right, and you play the lyric video, and you're like, Oh,
Oh, right.
man, I'm an idiot.
I've been saying this out loud in front of people for 8 years, and
Like what is it?
nobody
Alanis
ever saw me.
Morissette, like the
cross-eyed bear. The
cross-eyed bear.
See the
I
cross.
always saw it,
Dude,
Yeah.
I'd be sitting in the passenger seat with my mom or girlfriends, like, in the cross-eyed bear. And then I realized one day when ex of mine was like, she stopped the music and she goes, "The fuck did you just say?" And I was like, "The cross-eyed bear." And she's like, "It's the fucking cross-eyed bear."
I'm so glad that
And
he
I was-
experienced the same thing that I did.
And I was like, "Guess who's being silent the rest of the ride?" You know,
But no,
Big Alanis Morissette fans, are we?
huge.
oh,
Alanis
dude,
Morissette
I
fan.
love
Huge.
Alanis Morissette.
Huge.
Not gonna lie.
Okay,
We're all like, now we've teamed up. I'm back on this side. Now you're out.
welcome back to Juice in the Morning, motherfuckers.
And we love
Okay,
Alanis
We
Morissette.
all
So
just
my
collaborated on
my
that.
parents had me when they were 15, so I had a young mother growing up
Oh
in
my
the
God.
90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Alanis Morissette and shit like that.
Oh,
I was-
like what I'm saying is I can name one song and that's about it.
See, I can't name
But
any
yet
of the
I know
songs,
she
but I
was-
can sing all the lyrics.
I know
Like,
she
I
was
don't
married
know
to
the-
know.
Yeah.
I know she's Canadian. She was married to Ryan Reynolds. She played Jesus in
Ironic.
Dogma.
This is one of my favorites.
So I
She's
know
not
a lot
married to
about
Ryan
her.
Reynolds, is
She
she?
was married to Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is my celebrity.
Dude,
crush,
listen.
So.
I
Me
didn't
too.
I didn't know this about myself, but until I saw Ryan Reynolds, that's the only guy I'd ever go for.
He's so fucking.
Oh,
Dude,
no.
John
my God.
Krasinski with a
No.
beard, pretty
No.
good.
Are you serious?
Yeah, pretty
His
good.
nose
Channing
is too
Tatum,
weird
come on.
though.
We can't exclude
Channing,
Channing Tatum.
Channing's cool, but
He's
He-
too lumpy.
yeah, I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like I just know he's gonna be like
Plus, you know he's dumb as fuck.
lumpy. Yeah.
Wait.
But
What
John-
is, hold
John-
on, hold on. What does lumpy mean? I'm lumpy. Look.
No, you're like
I got
Channing Tatum
Yeah.
you're
is too like.
fluffy.
Oh my god! I don't
just
know if
cut
I-
out 3 letters. It's FAT. Don't say fluffy, please.
I did not know that about myself.
I got called a fat. I'll tell a funny story here in a minute. But what I'm saying is, how's he?
Lumpy?
He's 6-pack. Looks great.
Channing Tatum's in the top 10, but
That's-
he's like 7'8".
Like Ryan Reynolds is my number 1. I'm not debating
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh my
Ryan
god, that
Reynolds.
dude would.
Yeah.
I think Brad Pitt's up there for me too.
I don't know. He's a little like the
Dude,
alcohol caught up.
I don't know.
I don't
Brad
know.
Pitt is just—he's iconic though.
He's just cool.
but he doesn't
Yeah.
shower.
Yeah, but
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, but I don't think
See,
they.
Leo.
I don't
I don't think Leo's ever. I've never thought that guy was an attractive guy.
But Leo is
Leo?
like,
Like, and I'm comfortable
Catch
enough
me-
of myself to say these guys are. In my opinion, I'm like, when I look
Listen.
at him, I think he looks kind of like a little shrewish, like a
So-
little tiny guy.
so
Like he's
listen.
just like.
Listen, there was a moment that I learned something about myself, and it was the first time I ever saw Idris Elba in The Losers, and I was like, "Oh, I'm into black guys." I did not,
Oh.
I did not know that about myself.
We're learning so much about Johnny Batten.
I'm not.
tonight.
I mean, I'm comfortable with bisexuality. I'm not ever gonna indulge in that. But I was like, "That's a good-looking dude right there." You know,
I know.
like,
I have a hot wife, so I'm gonna just say whatever I want to say.
yeah, yeah.
I got called a fat ass yesterday via text, right? So.
What was she mad at you about?
Oh no. No, she wouldn't call me fat ass. She would. I don't know what my wife would do. Like, she's not even a mean person. She would just probably be like, your podcasts aren't that good, and that'd crush my soul.
Oh, dude, it would.
Like, she'd be like, Juice is better than you, and I'd just like,
God, please, Stephanie, if you're listening to this,
speaking of
please,
the-
please tell him that. Please, just once.
So-
Even if it's a joke, I don't care.
Speaking
just
of
tell him
depressing
that.
music and a gunshot,
So-
I don't think she should ever say
Oh,
that.
definitely
So,
say that,
That's
please.
why I don't own guns. So, I have a job where I oversee like 30, 40 stores, right, for a company, and I just got some stores in Cincinnati, right. And since it's not my show, I can probably tell the story. And I went in and we used WhatsApp, if you know what that is, for the company.
Yep.
So they log into it on the computers, the work computers, and you're always supposed to log out, right? So I'm in this store, and I walk in, and it's a pretty cool store or whatever. So I'm over there with the guy that I'm training, and I was like, all right, hey, I'm gonna pull up this report, send them to you, and I pull it up, and it's in my WhatsApp. I have a file where I save everything, and all of a sudden I see BJ, and I'm like, don't click on it, just don't, just don't even do it. I was like, all right. I click on it, and it's the one guy that's working there, and it says, hey, blank's here with the other guy, and the other guy goes, BJ ... Yeah, that fat ass. He never met me. That's past tense, right? He's never seen me. And then so and then
Retro.
and then and the other guy goes, he goes, what are they saying? He goes, oh, he's saying this, how cool the story is. The story looks dirty. And then the other guy that's not there at the time, he goes, man, he needs to quit bugging. You know me for a while. There's two versions of BJ, right?
Yep.
There's going full BJ.
When I first met you, I fucking hated you.
I'll go full BJ.
Yeah.
And so I decided to, I sent it to my boss, and he's like, blah, blah. I was like, man, can I just handle it my way? And he goes, no, I don't want you to handle it your way because you're going to say some things that are going to get us in trouble. And I was like, no, I want to I swear. I said, I'll handle it my way. So I walk over to the guy, and I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? Every time you use a work computer, can you log out on WhatsApp? You wouldn't want somebody to read something that they wouldn't want to see. He's like, I wasn't logged in over there. And I was like, no, your name is blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah. I'm like, yeah. I was like, don't worry about it, man. I was like, hey, I tell every store that. Make sure you do it. And he's freaking out at this point. And someone else walks in from that we're having a meeting at the store. They're like, hey, how things going? I was like, great. We just ate the ash chili. I was like, I probably shouldn't have ate it. I know I need to lose a lot of weight. In front of the kid. And the kid is like
Terrified.
And we start talking. And then the other guy who's part of the conversation walks in. And I'm gearing to leave. I grab my bag or whatever. And I'm like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I'm sorry if I came in bugging out. You know, I just got these stores.
Psychological warfare.
And I said, there's times I just bug out, man. I was like, I'm very, very sorry about that. And I was like, hey, I really like your jacket. Did you get that from so-and-so from our ordering site? He's like, yeah. I was like, man, I can't get those jackets. I'm a big fat ass, man. I struggle with it. Grabbed my bag, walked out the door, never said another word.
So somebody called you a fat ass
Via message to someone else, and I saw
Nice.
it. Instead of losing my
Nice.
mind, I went full. I think that's my female tendency. I think because that's what a woman would do to me, and I'd be like, "Does she know I cheated?"
swear to God. I mean, I'm slow clapping that because that is the psychological torment.
And then I turn on, and then I take the guy I'm training outside. I said, "Hey, what did we learn today?" He goes, "You're a little bit of a sociopath."
Yep.
I said, "Only one time is needed," and he was dying laughing.
I think you like that title.
I like that. Well, then I sent out a message to my DMs or whatever. It was like, hey guys, great night. Appreciate the hustle. P.S. Always log out of WhatsApp on the work computers. And the one dude I was with just started. I already told one other DM or whatever. And they were just laughing their ass off because they just knew. Because I told AP the story and he's like, dude, like you didn't fucking like make him cry because he thought I was going to berate him. I was like, no, I just went the other way. And he goes, dude,
That's worse.
He goes, you need help,
dude. You know what's really weird is I get terrified thinking that people talk bad about me, but at the same time, I compartmentalize it all.
I just don't give a fuck.
And I don't think about it because if I don't see it, it doesn't exist to me. So
I just don't give a fuck.
So, like, if somebody's talking shit about me, it doesn't exist to me. Hey, let's fucking get on the conversation about the inner monologue when she gets back in here.
But, like, does that really bother you for a little bit of time? Because, like,
No, like, what would bother me is if somebody said, hey, this person doesn't like this thing about you, I would think about it. But if they're doing it and they're talking about me and I don't hear about it, then I don't care.
See, I don't even care if I overhear it or if I stumbled upon information like
he did. There
she
is.
I would just be
it bothered me a little bit because
Stephanie, tell BJ that my podcast is better.
But your wife is really hot, man. I mean that with like all due respect.
So when he called me a fat ass, and I told my wife, and she was kind of upset, and then look at this little fucking flaming homo right here.
Bro.
Time out, though. Before we do the inner monologue, I got to piss, too.
All right, well, get it done.
Do you really want to give me attitude right now?
Dude, I'll give you attitude all day.
So when I got sad yesterday after he called me a fat ass for about 10 seconds, and I pulled this picture up of my wife, and then I felt better about myself. Because I knew I had won, and that's why I love her so much.
Yeah. Like I said, Stephanie, just tell him that my podcast is better just one time. I just would love that.
Oh, this is your wife?
That's my wife, Stephanie, yeah. We've been married 20 years.
She's probably really boring, too. She carries a really big purse.
And this little...
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know.
I can't just keep bashing all your guys' wives. I'll never be allowed.
Sorry. That's our doggy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I have the stereotypical... These are my boys right here. These are middle-class suburbanite douchebags.
They look.
He kind of looks
just
like Patrick Mahomes, the one on the left.
Well, he wants to be black, but he's upset that he's not. He once yelled at me because he said, "I'm not light skinned. I hate you." And I'm like, I had nothing to do with the process of what your skin color
I love
was.
that they both are wearing the Calvin Klein. That's nice.
Oh, look
It's
at
a
these.
good look.
Yeah, look at this. This is.
I like the socks too, dude. Those guys got some good style.
They do.
Yeah, you're welcome because I wanted my kids not to dress the way I dress. Look, Sarah, look behind you. Look right up there. I'm serious. You have to look the other way.
Okay.
That's what I had to wear.
Right?
That's Brian. That's when his soul
But
died.
that was cool back then, you
Yeah.
know?
No, it wasn't.
No.
No. That was like my stepdad's shirt because like I didn't wear polos. We all we wore
Well,
was
I
t-shirts.
think the internet has helped everyone out too. Like all these girls like that are like 12 and know how to do their makeup. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to skip the process.
And that's
all right?
why-
You gotta
that's
learn the hard way.
What he was talking about with TikTok earlier, that's what's kind of creepy about TikTok because this girl could be 12 or she could be 22.
Oh yeah.
And that like is kind of freaky. That's why I don't scroll through TikTok too much.
So I know you're
Yeah.
friends with Ben, and so am I. Ben actually, his younger photos of Ben look like my youngest son.
Oh really?
Yeah. So there's a picture of Colin where he looks like Ben because Ben has really curly hair.
Oh, you have that picture.
Yeah.
Right
So
there.
yeah. So Ben was mad.
You really like Ben.
No, this is
I'm
what.
just
This is
kidding.
why. Look.
He does that.
So I posted this picture, and Ben goes, "Where's my pic?" So he's a fan because he
No,
was,
but Ben's got a very strong Instagram game.
well
He
he was a
does.
wide receiver, and then my youngest son at the time was wide receiver. So when he'd come over the house, he would help Colin out because so yeah, my youngest son has a Jufro.
They're into that right now. My nephew gets a perm.
Well, look at this.
Isn't it crazy that his hair is so much different than his brother?
But his brother, it's all front side. It's shaved all the way around.
Yeah.
And my wife has the short hair, I don't care, Karen hair over here.
She definitely wants to speak to the manager in this
And then-
photo.
He had a big issue with the Super Bowl halftime show.
She was asleep. We were here. She was asleep during it. She was playing with the cats.
Yeah, that's me too. That's what I did.
She would not go in the garage. All she did was play with the cats.
No, I'll take it. Thanks.
Hey, you're such a sweet guy.
Gentleman and a scholar.
So one thing that we wanted to get into, like I really almost never take notes or do anything before the podcast because for a long time I did take notes and it felt like we were kind of
Forcing.
like, forcing things. But one thing we did want to talk about today that I would like to get your opinion on as well is that tweet that kind of went viral where the guy said that today I learned that some people don't have an inner monologue and it kind of blew my mind. And so
Did you see anything about that?
so then
Yep.
we started kind of talking about it, and I have a hard time. It's such like a brain pretzel when you think about it, because when I think about what I'm doing during the day, I don't feel like I'm not like talking through every single thing I do. Like I'm not like, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put a Pop-Tart in the toaster, or I'm going to go over here and I'm going to like drive my truck to work. And like, I think that there's a lot of like autopilot, in my opinion, on my my brain.
Pray tell what you mean.
By autopilot, I mean
Autopilot,
things,
like
I'm just
this is-
doing
this
stuff,
is
and
blank.
I'm doing stuff, and I'm not totally thinking about it. I'm thinking about what's going on, like
Now this
for example, waking up in the morning, getting ready for work. Like a lot of times, autopilot, like I'm grabbing stuff, doing stuff, and in my head, I'm thinking like what I got to do at work. I'm like, God, I got to fucking talk to this person today
But
because.
are you hearing your voice say that?
Yeah.
Like, God, I gotta talk to this
Well,
guy at work.
right.
And that's what's interesting because I don't characterize it or classify it as like an actual voice that like has any kind of like sound.
Well,
I
think
see
that
what
makes
you-
sense.
I
What
see-
it is.
yeah,
I think
it's-
it's more just an inner monologue as far as like these are people that do not have any type of like I listened to this one girl, she's like, I just have like files in my mind, and if I like words, she said words are shapes to her.
Which
Like
is
when
strange.
she's reading, she doesn't hear the voice.
That's
she doesn't
weird.
like hear a voice. She just words are shapes, and she sees the words
Wow, that's interesting.
and just knows what they mean without like it's yeah.
Well, and then
now how constant is it?
what do you mean?
Like for me, there are times that
You freaked me out because you said that you will be having a conversation thinking about that, but at the same time you're having like multiple other thoughts.
yeah,
going on.
I will literally
That freaks me out because I can't
I-
do that. I'm like straight forward.
So, like-
I've been doing that several times during this
Me,
podcast.
me too.
Yeah,
Like
I'm thinking about other things we've talked about at the
absolutely.
same time
I'm
as talking right
like,
now.
I'm replaying the conversations that we've been having while thinking about the next conversation we're gonna have.
That's probably why I'm not that intelligent.
Yeah, we're just really smart. Like, so smart.
Right.
You guys are just, running on a different.
But I mean, there's times like
different kind of fuel
I'll
over
be
there.
laying in bed and I don't know what it is, but I'll just have a thought, and then it's almost like I have these little projections in my mind, or not projections. What's it called? Like with the reels, what they used to put on projectors,
I think
like film reels.
film
I guess.
reels, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have those, and like for some reason, it's like my internal soul or whatever will just be like, that one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it'll like, and it'll start playing, and then I'm thinking about that conversation. Oh man, if I would.
Oh, I'm a huge daydreamer. Like sometimes
Huge.
I've made like 4-hour drives before with no radio.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Just
That's one of
sitting
my
there in my
favorite things to
thoughts, just like
Nope.
and
Can't do that.
all of a sudden I'm 4 hours into a made up story at this
do.
point
Yeah.
in my mind.
Right.
Like,
Indeed.
I'm like, oh, but what if that guy would have at the grocery store would have cut you instead? And then I've just created this whole story, and that's probably my issue with relationships. If I just make these like stories up in my head, and I'm like, this is what I thought about. So it's true.
100%.
No,
I agree with you 100%.
You know what's really wild
like I
too?
can be. This is how deep
Go
it
ahead.
goes. I'm sorry. This is how deep it goes. I can be listening to music with my earphones on, singing along to that music in my head while also having a conversation with myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more like that.
No.
So what's really wild to me is I'll look over at my wife occasionally and be like, "What were you thinking about?" Nothing. And I'm like,
Does she mean it?
"Yeah." Like she legitimately means she was not thinking about anything. And I'm like,
No, she was. She just doesn't want to tell you.
I'm
Right,
curious
that's what I'm-
because
she was
I
thinking about how mad she is.
we've had that. I've had that
He left these
conversation with
motherfucking
her.
pistachio shells in the bed.
I've had that conversation with her. And
He
I've been
leaves
like,
one more pistachio shell in the bed. I'm out. I'm leaving. What
But
are
I-
you thinking about? Nothing.
I seriously have had that. Like we've gotten into an argument because I'm like, there's no way that you were thinking about absolutely nothing. And she's like, yeah, and I'm like, so I said to her, I was like, is it like the circus music going around in your head, like, and she's like, kind of like that. Like, yeah, I'm just kind of zoning out, and I don't ever zone
See,
out.
now I've got to have a conversation with Jen because I've literally been sitting in my office, had somebody walk in. I had no idea they walked in because I'm like,
I've never
and-
zoned out.
and they've been like, "Hey, Johnny, you there?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah."
That's
Now I'm
interesting.
reconnected.
Because in a psychology class one time, I learned that only men can do that.
What?
Turn off
Really?
completely. Like women, and
I've
that's
tried.
why the way our brains are wired. Like a lot of times, women we can't shut off our brain no matter what. But men can.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting that your wife is a man.
No, what's
That's
probably more accurate is what you said. She probably is thinking about something. She just doesn't want to tell me.
Yeah.
That probably makes more sense. to be
Because in her
honest.
mind, she's sitting there all zen-like, and she's like, "If I just grab that knife, I could end all this bullshit right
All right,
here."
my wife and I have a very loving marriage. Okay.
Yeah, until she wakes up and picks all the pistachios out.
No, I was just like, and then
Jen's awesome, by the way. If you ever
People-
listen to us,
Yeah.
love you, Jen.
people to say
You're not
though
a
that they
man.
don't have an inner monologue, I think is like, I think they're lying or they're trying to be, because you remember the other stuff that goes viral, like is the dress blue, is the dress gold,
It's gold.
whatever bullshit thing that is.
It was blue and black.
Yeah, and
Did you say gold?
I
Yeah.
can see both. If that makes sense, I can like
I can't
if I'm
talk
looking at
myself
it and I'm
into
like
it, yeah.
this looks like this looks like this. Same with the Yanni Laurel thing, the audio that sounds like it's saying Yanni. Some people say they hear Laurel.
But how much?
I hear either one.
I don't know that one. But how much of this is a placebo effect?
But that's what I'm saying. I think that
because the crazy thing is, you read that headline. How do you read that headline and you're not saying it to yourself internally?
right, and I think but I also think there's a lot of people out there that want to comment saying that they don't have the inner monologue because they want to be special.
But and then how
Yeah.
how do you not have an inner monologue and have a conversation with somebody? Because it's like, I'm not. It's not like we're sitting here having a conversation and I'm talking to myself and saying, "Oh, you say this, say this, say this."
Mm-hmm.
But
That's why I say like it's
But
like
it's
a
like-
brain pretzel because I wanted to ask you guys. I was just like thinking just now. I want to ask you guys, how long do you think it takes you to think about what you're going to say before you say it?
It depends on the situation.
Because for me, I
Now
feel like I
there-
don't.
I just like as soon as he said that, I thought I wanted to like listen to my brain, and all I heard my brain do was go
Exactly.
So that's all I've got, and then the rest is just whatever the fuck comes out next. I don't know.
Now there are times where like that's 100 like 90% of the time what she just said, but there are times where like an uninteresting person's talking, and then I finally get to hit that peaceful side of my brain and think of something useful to say. And that's one thing. But most of the time, I think it's like a reactionary because you have that inner monologue with yourself. Instead of just listening to yourself say it up here, you're speaking it.
Yeah.
I think that to do if you're doing any type of public speaking, especially like you starting to do comedy now, like when you're going over your jokes, do you hear yourself saying them in your head?
Ooh, that's interesting. Do you?
Yeah, like I hear my voice fluctuation, everything. Like
Really?
I would say no, and I think that's one of the problems that I have. I also have a problem. I actually kind of put this connection together thinking about, I saw somebody post something about like the jokes they were going to do, and the way they made it sound to me was like a set list, like a band, so they can just kind of put jokes wherever they want and do things. My brain, when I'm getting ready to do that, like do stand up, I feel like, and maybe it's just because I'm new or something, but I have to flow things into each other so that it's one big thing. And I can't just like look at something and be like, and pull this joke out and I'm gonna do it. Like I feel like I have to have it all planned out from front to end.
I'll have the general premise of what I want to say planned out. Like I'll write down like 4 words. Even if it's a new joke, I'll just be like, I'm working on that Gypsy Rose thing, so I'll just write down like Gypsy Rose, and then I'll write like 2 little bullet points just to remind myself. But the rest is me just like kind of going off and what's getting laughs. But
that's why I think that you and the people that are good at comedy, because I'm gonna say I'm not good at it. Is your brain works that way to be able to do it that way?
But like, okay, so from the outside perspective of what you two are talking about, if I'm watching you on stage, I don't know what you're about to say, so I'm repeating it to myself so I can understand it in my mind. Whereas with you, I know what you're gonna say because we have those conversations before you go on stage.
Yeah.
So as you're doing your set, there's something up here that'll be like, oh man, if he just added this to it, with this crowd and what he was saying at the opening, like, oh, like, so yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, it's. I think that, I mean, I always like.
But you like structure. You like you're very structural, like very very coordinated with how you do everything. You're like, point A, B, C, D. I'm gonna hit all these.
I think I'm too dumb to remember stuff.
I'm gonna do.
So I have to remember it in the order that it is supposed to go.
So it's kind of like structure
like
versus
full
more of a
bullet points and
freestyle.
Well, I think that's like I know a lot of people when they first get into it, and like I don't know a ton about it yet either, but they take up their full notes and they're just reading off of it. And I remember when I went to a few open mics before I started doing it, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. No matter what.
Well, I did that one time and I fucking sucked because I had written the bullet points. I had written the bullet points, but like I couldn't, like when I would read the bullet point, I would forget my joke.
Well, and nothing's as funny when you're just reading it, right?
No,
Like
absolutely.
half of it is the way you say it and the way you're interacting. I mean, like anything performance based, it's more so how the crowd is reacting.
At the beginning of the roast battles, that's why I always gave P-Rez so much credit because everybody else was like, but P-Rez would just go up there and put his hands in his pockets.
Were you at the last one?
No, I have not been at the last one.
Had P-Rez at the last one.
The last one.
How did that go, by the way? Because I did miss that as well.
It was, so he actually took notes. I think he was nervous. But I really liked it because I feel like on a lot of them, I felt like an asshole afterwards because like it was just like a brutal kind of like, I didn't even mean to.
It was great when you went against Sandra.
That was the last one I saw.
Like,
you 100% won that.
Well, and
in my
that's why
mind.
I almost feel like an asshole where I'm just like, I don't, especially against a woman, because I feel like we were taught as women to like build each other up and help each other. And
Fuck that.
I do feel like that though. I really do. Like I'm like all about like, trying to build women up and build each other up. And then I just had to be like, you dress like my dog. Like, and it kind of, but with P-Rez, I felt a little bit better just because he was saying stuff back to me that was really good. But his outfit choice just made it so easy. He had what I would refer to as a cargo shirt instead of cargo shorts on. Had like 9 billion pockets on it. So I was like, I'm just gonna make fun of this. And then he wore these like big glasses. Like, have you guys seen The Incredibles?
Yeah.
He looked like the woman that made the costume for him in The Incredibles. So I was just like, as soon as I walked up there, I was just like, I don't even need my notes. Like, you came up here looking like this. So, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
But to get back to like the structure thing with you, that's I know you want me so badly to go up there and do that with you, and I know.
Yeah, I just want
we
you to
have
try stand up,
conversations,
you know.
But that's the biggest fear that's holding me back is I know at some point I'm just gonna start trying to freestyle because that's how my mind works. And
I did that once. Fuck.
It's got to be so rough because
well, it was because of the audience.
Exactly. Like I'm gonna feed off of how they're feeling, and then like because that's just me. Like I grew up. I was always the kid that was just riffing and raffing, and like if you give me if fuck you, I'm not that old yet.
For a roast is what you're saying. You're gonna freestyle for a roast?
No, just doing stand up. But like I can just sit and talk shit and get like people to enjoy that.
Well, at least know your like punchline.
Right.
Is what I would recommend. Like know what you want your beginning sentence to be.
But
and
that's
then
my
know what punchline you're getting to, because if not, you're just gonna get up there and just mumble a bunch of funny stuff, and then everyone's gonna be like.
But that's my fear is I'm gonna know the punchline, but think that I can read the crowd better than that punchline and come up with a better one.
He's already overthinking it.
Don't do that.
You know, because that's just something that I do. Like I know that about myself.
Because there's gonna be at times where you do a joke and you think like, oh wow, it's funny, but the audience might find another part of it funny.
Exactly.
And but then, still say your punchline.
Yeah. Right. And then it's weird is because the audience could throw off your timing is because you're like, hey, I wrote this joke, it's great. And you're like, you get to it, blah, blah, blah. And then they laugh at a different part and you're like, and then all of a sudden you get rattled like, oh, I need to change, like in the middle of it. Yeah.
Last night I powered through for the first time ever. I've never had like extremely intoxicated people in the crowd. And this lady was just talking the entire time I was talking. Like, and I don't feel like I'm seasoned enough. Or
Who are you?
Yeah, I don't have like anything planned to like talk shit to that person to tell him to be quiet. She eventually was quiet because I actually made her laugh with a joke. So I was like, good. So I don't have to like acknowledge her. I don't actually always have to acknowledge somebody that's like kind of causing a disruption, because if she listens and like laughs, then that's great. Yeah. But then a couple other people did acknowledge her, and then she felt like she was part of their act, so she kept talking more.
You should have
during
walked
their
off
act.
the stage,
so I was like,
walked right up to her table and just handed her the microphone.
I felt like I got really lucky that it just kind of like went okay, because I haven't had anybody like heckle or like actually talk shit.
Should just told her. I hope there's a Bill Cosby in the audience.
I think my go-to for that, if it's someone specific, I'll just be like, hey, how are you? Where are you from? Mm-hmm. And when they tell me where they're from, no matter what, I'm like, I can tell. And then I just kind of like ignore them from that point on, and then they're embarrassed. Yeah. And they'll shut up. So that's like my go-to.
I'm probably gonna steal that from you.
Yeah, it's like an easy one to just like, here, I'm gonna give you the attention you want, and then I'm gonna make fun of you, and then I'm gonna move on and be the person that I'm here to be. Yeah, without you.
Yeah, but a couple people did acknowledge it. Jeff Goltz, the ventriloquist, did a great job. He like basically told her to shut the fuck up. Like I
like him.
I think word for word he said, "Shut the fuck up. I'm telling jokes." And
he's
like,
an interesting human being.
Yeah, he was great.
He's got this one joke, and it's not when he has the ventriloquist, and he's like, "I'm having dating women because anybody that wants to fuck me wants to fuck a ventriloquist," which I have an issue with, and I'm like, that's so good.
He did open with that. It was very good. But yeah, what time are we at?
We gave her way too much time. I'm kidding.
No,
it's 3:45 though.
We're actually at like probably an hour 20 actually.
Okay. So before we kind of wrap things up, I know we kind of talked about the
Nasty Nas.
Oh, have you seen this?
God, she's got the fucking greatest. She doesn't even have a great ass, but this is the greatest twerker in the world.
I've spoke about this on the podcast.
Bro.
I am known. Twerking doesn't do it for me.
Hang on.
This is basically what we're doing in my video, though. Just with our shoulders instead.
But twerking just is not something that I'm like, oh man, that's hot.
Well,
sorry, that's just me.
You need to date a black girl, Justin.
Well, I hope not. He's about to have a kid with somebody.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
You're
about
supposed
that.
to wait till they're 5 before you abandon their mother.
Do you normally do all the work? Is that?
Ooh.
Well, I
No,
just feel like
I'm just saying-
twerking
I
is
just think- I
sexy
just-
if like
to
you
me-
know if you were having an envision of
I know, but that's just like that's not what I don't know. Maybe I'm just not picturing that the right way.
Well, there's one where like someone sent it to me, and I was just like this doesn't happen in my household. Like none of us.
Because like the photos, I'm like, oh yeah, the photos
here
are good.
here
But
it
like,
is. It's
but
this
the
one.
dance itself is just like fucking incredible to watch a human being do.
But like, there's so many people that can do this. It's incredible that she figured out how to get famous for
right.
it.
So my response to this is, cool. Her butt's going up and down.
I mean, it is.
If she did
she's
that on
very
your
good.
penis, you would be in love.
Exactly, but that's not what's happening. It's a video.
Yeah. But remember though, what AP always says. What does he always say? Do you remember?
Doesn't matter.
No.
how
show,
hot she is.
Show me a guy who's fucking a hot chick, and I'll show you a guy who's tired of fucking her.
Yep. He does say that,
And that is true.
which is kind of shitty. But
no,
it's
we've
true.
done studies about it.
It does.
Like we talked to people off air that we met. Like, wow, she's really gorgeous, and they're
Twerk icon. I love that as her.
What does that mean?
What's that? Twerk icon?
No. No, what you said, find a guy that's tired of her.
No, so
Yeah,
he
every guy
basically
gets,
said,
every guy gets tired
"Show
of
me a
having
hot
sex
girl."
with no matter what they look like. They just get tired of it.
Oh.
They don't admit it, but they get tired of it because it's no matter what. I've been with my wife.
I think that's because people have you have to go. You have to communicate. You have to have
Oh yeah,
therapy
communication.
kind of stuff. Because
Not even therapy.
if
but
it gets
communication
boring,
is
then you
key.
got to figure it out.
Also,
Like
no,
sometimes I gotta put my Darth Vader mask and crawl through the window and like do this whole role play thing because just
What-
so she can hear where I'm coming from. You know what I
actually,
mean?
the
Interesting
real
role play. Oh
the-
wait, you don't have one.
the real thing behind it though, if you want the sincere answer, is
Wow.
guys will chase for looks. We know this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then they'll get that person, and then their body's amazing, and then they look amazing naked, right? And then all of a sudden they allow them to start talking, and they're like, "Fuck."
Allow them. Oh, thank you.
No, what I mean is they'll allow their personality. They'll start to get to know them, and they realize,
Because the beginning's all just fake.
yeah.
Right.
Look, there's
Right.
so many nuts you can bust before it's like, why am I doing this?
I mean, I've been with the same person since 1998, so I mean,
Yeah, what you're saying is like personality is going to.
yeah, and that's the whole point.
And
is,
even then, you're probably still gonna get tired of it.
yeah, and I did. We separated for a year. I mean,
really?
and yeah, and then it was like right at the level he's about to get to, about to have a kid. Then we had our other kid, and it's just like, yeah,
Have
I've-
you considered that maybe it was the kids?
we did.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine a house I would have if I didn't have those guys. I say it all the time in front
Yeah.
of them. I'm like, we wouldn't be living here if we had you two. Like, you know
Yeah.
how many pairs of shoes that we wouldn't have to buy?
It sucks you can't just like take them to the pound. You know? Like you're stuck with them.
I mean, you can.
Well, I
You
tried
just
to-
gotta fly to China.
We tried to give them to like send them to the Philippines. they're like top shelf money. One kind of looks like a girl, so he's kind of in between. So. No, it's tough. I mean, because like she said earlier, her Instagram was different.
I'm just grateful for the sex, so I don't really get bored.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, you get to a point where that don't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
You just want someone.
Well, when you get it so
But
infrequently,
I also don't have
Yeah,
6.6
it's-
million followers, so I feel like
Yeah,
probably
that's
I'm doing
where-
something wrong.
you
Like-
should steal her picture, just that one, and put it over yours,
Well,
and then do
sometimes-
cat videos.
Sometimes I'll like post like just a selfie or something, and
I
I'll get
just
like
noticed
a
my name.
billion more likes than I do. Not a billion, obviously, but like a lot more likes than I do on like my funny videos, and I'm like,
Right.
well, this sucks.
yeah,
Like,
Well,
I
and it-
posted the what is it? The ultrasound of my baby, like
oh yeah, people
300
like
likes.
It. Oh, they tried. Oh, I would
300
not.
likes, and then I post something about the podcast. One,
No one gives
Yeah.
a
and
shit.
it's usually me.
No one gives a shit about your comedy. No one
Right.
gives a shit about our podcast. But if I post a picture of me and my son going, "Great day," they're like 9,000 people, and I'm like,
He's such a great dad.
they're like, "You're chasing your dreams." Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
We want to see
Yeah.
a picture of your kids to judge where you're at in life,
Exactly.
and that's why social media is just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So
As we look at it, such trash. Blech.
yeah, she's
Who is that?
That's why I always post pictures
that's
of food and fireworks.
that's Brooke. That's,
Okay.
She did my show.
Okay.
She looks like a psycho.
Which
She
one?
kind of looks like if Gypsy Rose in like 20 years.
Yep,
If
she does.
stayed in the wheelchair.
So, but yeah,
Before we get rolling out of here, though, Sarah, give everybody your social media and anything that you got coming up, comedy-wise, or just anything you want to promote at all.
Yeah. So social media is Sarah Pop-Tart.
Is it on everything? Like, do you do
so-
Twitter, Instagram?
Yes, it's Sarah Pop-Tart on Twitter and Sarah Pop-Tarts on Instagram, which is
Okay.
annoying.
If they type most of it out, they'll
yeah,
find you.
Yeah, exactly. And I am trying to build my Twitter because I post some funny stuff, but I'll get like 2 likes, and I'm like, this is when I get famous. Like, y'all are gonna look back on these and be like, she should have gotten way more than this. So Sarah Pop-Tarts,
the
and then
confidence.
my Facebook is just Sarah D Huntington. I was trying to pull up. I know I have shows.
Well, you did the Top Golf thing was awesome. I would love to be able to be a part of that at some point.
It was fun. I'm really happy that I did it, or that I got the opportunity to do it.
And then, like I said, anybody that gets a chance to see Sarah, she's very hilarious.
Like, why
you.
does ESPN not have an XFL fantasy app?
Yeah, I want to
That's
play
exactly what I
fantasy
thought.
football
Name
with
3.
XFL.
Name 5 guys in the XFL.
You said 3, so I'm going to go with that.
Name 5.
Cardale
Oh,
Jones.
Sorry. So I've got Kettletop and Anderson. I'm doing
Hell yeah.
Valentine's
That's
Day
going to be
show.
awesome.
Yeah, Zane Zaney is on there. Mandy McLevy. They're both super, super funny. So we'll be on that on Valentine's Day. It's down to general admission tickets only. And then on the 26th, there's the Who's Laughing Meow
Nice.
comedy thing. It's Tyson Cox's show at the Cat Cafe in Fountain Square. So.
Like him a lot, too. He's very funny.
Yeah, that's who was also on the Top Golf show with
Nice.
me. And
Yeah, I
super
love
kind
I love
to me,
his
so.
YouTube beer reviews where he just like slams the beer.
Oh yeah, I like his like dad water. My dad just came back out.
But yeah, so do you guys have anything to have a final thought? I think our brains are in a pretzel thinking about inner monologues.
Yeah.
I always have a great inner monologue.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say something, like, to one of you
Ooh,
guys.
you missed this whole convo.
Yeah.
Didn't
And
you?
then, no, I heard it. I was outside. It was just really awful. But no, like when I say something and then all of a sudden in my mind I'll replay it back and then I'm thinking about how you guys are reacting to it. And like I get sad at times.
Yep.
I was like, man, I sound like an ass.
I do
No,
the same.
because I know that I'm manic depressant. I have anxiety issues, and then sometimes like I'll go too far, and then I'm a line hopper. I'm a line jumper. I've been told that. Like when I got hired in my new job, the guy hired me, worked with me. He's like, you can't cross that line and say like go too far.
Yeah, I don't want to
struggle with that.
Yeah, I don't want to be offensive at all, but
I do.
I'm so
I do, fuck.
happy that I have zero like mental issues.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at you.
Like I'm pretty happy most of the time.
He's
If something bad happens, it's like, that sucks, and then
Yeah,
I
you're
move
like
on.
AP. It drives me fucking insane.
Yeah, straight up.
So I
We're
could
very
not,
grateful for you showing up and doing this with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
couldn't
thank
imagine
you
it.
guys. Thank
But
you
no.
for letting me
Appreciate
come
it.
to the boys.
No, it was
Club.
it was a great time. As soon as that happened, I was watching the Super Bowl halftime show, and I was like, "This is gonna
Oh,
this
I
has
knew
got to
it.
be
Yeah.
a meme.
Yeah.
This has to be like something ridiculous."
Have you guys seen Christmas Vacation, where like the guy doesn't know how to do the drum roll? Like everyone's like, and he's just like, that's exactly what she looks like.
I just thought that somebody was gonna immediately make a meme and remove the microphone and put something else in that like in her hand. Like I
Yeah.
thought
I
that
know
was
what you
gonna
were
happen.
thinking about.
I'm happy that we took such different routes though and didn't go the sexual way. I think
Right.
good
But no, thank
plan.
you, Sarah,
Yeah,
for
thank you,
joining the
guys.
podcast.
We'd love to
It's,
have you back. Please
Thank
come
you.
back sometime.
at Sarah Pop Tart on Twitter, at Sarah Pop Tarts on Instagram.
Yep.
And for us, I am at Juice in the AM on all social media, as well as Juice85OR7
I
for
don't
my personal stuff.
I don't have to tell people they already follow me. So.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I do.
And they don't care what you say. And then we've got BJ from the Flyover Media. Kind of give them a shout out.
Just go to Flyover Media because I don't really care if you follow anything else I do.
Right.
He's going into the sad stage.
It's
Thanks, bitches.
it's all superficial, anyways.
Next week.
Are we really going to?
Maybe.
Is it? Do we have one more?
I don't really want to do another one unless you guys
Let's get out of here.
I got to do another one. Either today or tomorrow.
I will smoke a cigarette.